Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed your lunch break and received some nourishment, heart and soul and body to help us through the rest of the day. Again, welcome back. So after such a beautiful meal and some connection and greetings and discussions, talks with other people that are attending this conference, I'm sure you enjoyed your break. And now that we're back, I'd like to invite you to settle back in and really ground again as a group and bring our heart and soul back present into our bodies, into this collective consciousness that we would like to create to bring us forward through the rest of the program. So we have prepared to show you a video, and we hope you enjoy the video. It is titled Gratitude, and we will begin our afternoon program with the video. Thank you. What a beautiful heart-opening video we all saw with the message of gratitude. And with that, we welcome all of you back from your lunch break. And together we move forward with the program. We've got a couple of sessions left, and we invite you to continue amplifying and adding to the field of the divine spark consciousness that we are all here to explore. We begin the afternoon session with the theme, Harmony Between Humanity and Nature. How can we live sustainably on Earth? So now I'd like to invite the participants who are part of this session to take their seats at the presentation table in front of the room. And please bring your translation device. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 5 members in this panel. Again, the theme is harmony between humanity and nature, our third session of the day. I'd like to introduce this beautiful panel of speakers and presenters from left to right, starting with Sally Ann Ranney, Sesto Giovanni Castagnoli, Izumi Masukawa, Wakako Hironaka, and David Leal Garcia. Thank you. And to engage us in the theme of harmony between humanity and nature, each one of our presenters have brought an image for sharing and contemplation. And so I would like to ask our first presenter, Sally Ann Ranney, to begin the session with her image.
Is this on? So this image, to me, when I was asked about providing an image, and I didn't even think about an image, it was immediately this one. This is my relationship with God and with the earth. Before I say anything else, I want to thank the Saionji family, for your intention and for the gratitude that you have expressed to all of us for being here. Our gratitude to you. Thank you. So I was asked to tell a story, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that because I have so many notes from what other people had said that I was confusing myself. So nature to me is a gateway. It's the creation and the creator. And when I was 7 years old, I was, my family were Methodists, which meant nothing to me, but I could tell people that's what we were. And I was in Bible school in the Methodist church, and they were talking about a particular Bible story, Samson and Delilah, and an impulse came through me, and I stood up, closed the book, told the teacher the Bible teacher, he was not telling the truth. I had to leave, and I wasn't coming back. And I walked out the door with my little Bible book that I still have. And I realized as I was walking home, which is only about a block away, what I had actually done. It wasn't until my mother caught up with me, they got her out of the congregation, she caught up with me, and she came up behind me, and she said, "Stop," and I stopped, and she turned me around, and she stooped down, and she looked into my eyes. She didn't look down at me. And she said, "I understand you walked out of Sunday school today, and you told your teacher, basically, that he was a liar." I said, "Well, sort of. Yeah, I did that." She said, "Well, if you don't want to be in Sunday school, where do you want to be?" And out of the mouths of babes, I said, "With God." And she said, "Well, where would that be?" And I said, "It's over there." And over there was a field with knee-high grass and these huge, huge old cottonwood trees. The trunks this big around. And there were frogs, and there were birds, and there were insects. And I'd watch the worms go through the sand and make designs. And I'd lie there, and I'd look at the clouds, and I'd look at the sun filtering through the canopy of the trees. And then I started to notice patterns. I started to notice the balance of fragility and resilience. I started to know that nature, undisturbed, is balanced. And I had a particular affinity for trees, I still do, because of this experience, and I've been able to meet some of the oldest sentinels still on the planet. I've been blessed with that experience. And there was one of these cottonwoods that had a cavity in her trunk, and it was just big enough for me to crawl in and snuggle up and take naps. And one day I got the idea that I would put my ear to her skin because I wanted to hear her grow. And about 6 months later, not knowing anything about meditation, an impulse came and said, "Put your back straight against the trunk, close your eyes, fold your legs." And I did, and I sat there. And in about 15 minutes, I felt the sap of that tree go up my spine and then go back down into the earth and back again. And I realized there was no separation. There was no hard edge between the trunk of that tree and me. We were one. The frequency matched. And so from that experience, I realized, having spent about 3 years in that field, many days of the week, I realized a few things, very key things that have guided my life. And one is that the master impulse of the universe is cooperation, not competition. I also realized that I was born in the womb of creation, just as the stars were born, just as the tree that I loved was born, just as all those insects and birds were born. I realized that I was the creation and the creator. And I also realized that I was not separate from anything, that separateness is individuated consciousness. And one is unconditional, undifferentiated consciousness. And I was one. There was no I. That's just the convenience of language. There was only one. And so I progressed through life. In that moment, I realized later on that I was a God seed. That's where the divine spark in me was lit, was ignited. And I didn't know that until years later. So I've spent my life trying to protect biodiversity around the planet and put it into conservation custody for perpetuity. And then I realized that climate change changed everything. New rules, totally new rules. And that everything, all human systems and all natural systems were becoming subservient to and would be subservient to climate change. So in concluding, I want to say that climate change has invited us, we created it out of false assumptions of separateness, fear, scarcity. And so we created it. And we can change those assumptions, which change the paradigm, which change the belief systems, which change the language and the narrative, which changes how we think and how we act, how we behave. So I had to come to terms with climate change, and I think what it is, it's an invitation from ourselves to ourselves, because we're at a crossroads, both on the physical plane of our life support systems and where we are at that intersection. There's a spiritual path and there's the road of staying in the trance. So I think my experience has been that nature is the gateway, and nature has all the designs that we need. That's where many of the answers reside. Thank you.
Oh, wow. What a nice picture. So, yeah, welcome again from my side, and thank you very much for being here. So this picture represents more or less all what I am. And I would like to honor nature, and for me, nature is our mother. Earth peace, I hear this morning. I was living in Africa, and Mother Africa, we say as well. So, and Mother Earth, and Mother Earth reminds me on silence. And I would like to share with you from my few minutes. I have still 4 minutes. At least 1.5 minutes silence. And in this 1.5 minutes of silence, I would love you close your eyes and follow just what you see in nature, one of your nicest experience you ever had in your whole life. Maybe you have seen a waterfall or another nice picture, an animal. And now, please, 1 minute and 15 seconds. Thank you very much. I'm sure you will share with me your experience after. And it is a moment where I want to talk quietly and out of my heart. And I want to see when I remember this tree. So I'm not really a tree hugger, I'm a human hugger too. And so what I experience when we talk about nature is nature, what Masami said yesterday, is our really biggest teacher. We don't need anybody else than nature. So nature is teaching us love for each. And I thought this morning when I was sitting there, wow, what would the animals say if they would be in with us here in this moment? So I'm missing the animals. And what would all these deer say, what we do to nature today and to the animals? So I'm sure you have never seen, not this tree, which is a very old tree, but you have seen fruit trees and trees feeding us. But have you seen one tree asking when he feeds us what religion we have? Or have you seen a tree asking us what gender we have? So this is nature. It is plenty and not scarcity. And so I just can, when we talk about this theme today, I know that my fellow speakers will say a lot more about this, but if we embrace nature, everybody, every day, and we talk a lot about climate change, so, but it's all handmade technology, new technologies. I'm involved in this kind of stuff, and I try always to tell them, look, it's not about new technology, it's about us, how the French did it a few decades ago. They say décroissant, it means degrowth. So we have not to go further and further and further. We have to go to degrowth. We have to minimize things, not maximize things. So, and nature is asking us for this truth to ourselves, to listen to our inner self and be really together with nature. And then the harmony between feminine and masculine is there in nature. So we don't need, nature is our biggest teacher. So we don't need anybody else. We just have to look at nature and see that we have maybe not even go to school. So nature is teaching us everything. So maybe we don't learn the right things in school. So, and I have nothing against teachers, so I loved my teachers. So, and I know Nina is here, so she will tell me off later. So, but anyway, so I had once a speech to finish. I have still 9 seconds, so, and then the bell. I will not go to the bell. So I had once a speech in Russia, and they said to the students, don't listen to your professors and your teachers. Don't listen to your parents. Just listen to your heart, your inner self, your baby, as Masami said. So we are born, we have everything. The time is over. Thank you very much.
I think Sally and Sesto already talked about what I wanted to talk about. So I can finish now. This is what I've been doing in my life. This is my subject to my life. The water is one of my most important element in my life. I used to not to go to school, even though I went out of house and went straight to the river or a pond behind the temple, and just looked for water always. So when I told my mother, I don't want to go to school, I just want to learn about water. And my grandmother said, well, just go over there to the school and just take a seat for a while and just go to the mountains. So I just went over there just for attendance and sneaked away from elementary school and even junior high. But I learned many things from water, and when I started to talk to water, they really responded to me. So I was already making water purifier when I was 8 years old, and I collected so many stones from river and mixed it, and also used some clay to make my own water purifier. And I started to feel about the difference of the quality of molecule and the size of molecule. And I made a water purifier for my parents. But for school, I focused on what's going to be on the test for every semester. And I just talked to the water, what's going to be on. And I had a vision what's going to be on exactly, but it was a nonsense things to remember. So I just photocopy it. So usually I didn't have any trouble taking a score for the test. When I tried to choose the school, but I couldn't find any major as water, so I had to take a nutrition because I love eating, and I thought the food is going to be giving us a beautiful energy, and the water is the key element for food, and food is going to be giving us a great knowledge, consciousness, and what we eat is really influence us. And after graduating from the school, I actually started to learn about the water treatment and went to school again. And there I sensed so much frequencies. So I was really digging into frequencies, imprinting frequencies to the water, checking the frequencies for each veggies and mountain vegetables. And then studied about the EMF, extreme EMF is electromagnetic frequencies, and extreme low frequencies, because frequencies is something to do with everything, to our body and our consciousness. So what we touch, what we eat, what's our environment, is all frequencies. So we really have to focus on what you eat, what kind of knowledge and information you're going to be taking. It's all frequencies. And I started to learn about the sound. Learn the sound from professionals, learn sound from astronomers. And deeply started to find out about the connection between our organs and all the stars. Stars and all the planets. And now I have a school. I've been teaching 5 years to professional musicians and doctors and psychotherapists and all sorts of interesting people, teaching how to use frequencies, using natural sounds and tools such as folks and all sorts of ancient instruments. And I found out we should all celebrate ourselves and the life to change the level of our frequencies around us, our environment, and focusing on the higher stage of frequencies to change our world, to shift our consciousness and our new time and the earth. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. You are seeing 5 of the national park, 33 national parks in Japan. First, I would like to read the opening portion of the Earth Charter. Earth, our home. Humanity is part of a vast evolving universe. The Earth, our home, is alive with a unique community of life. The forces of nature make existence a demanding and uncertain adventure, but Earth has provided the conditions essential to life's evolution. The resilience of the community of life and the well-being of humanity depend upon the preserving a healthy biosphere with all its ecological system, a rich variety of plants and animals, fertile soils, pure water, and clean air. The global environment with its finite resources is a common concern of all peoples. The protection of Earth's vitality, diversity, and beauty is a sacred trust. Okay. Beautiful May Day weather outside the United Nations University building. How blessed we are with green leaves, beautiful flowers, and nice fresh air. Here we are in Japan, in affluence. Most of us are in good health with family and friends. But unfortunately, the whole world is not like ours. War, refugees, starvation, poverty, unemployment, homeless people, broken families, etc. I myself had spent a year at an evacuation camp during the World War II. Never again. I do not want anyone to experience unreasonable separation from his or her family, keen starvation, and fear of uncertain future. When we came back to Tokyo from our evacuation camp after the World War II, Tokyo was completely transformed, almost flat by air raid. Trees along the sidewalks and parks were burnt or almost gone as people used whatever was left as firewood. Post-war recovery with rapid industrialization after the war devastated Japanese archipelago even further. Environmental pollution, such as Minamata and Yokkaichi-Azuma, gave some serious health hazard to people. With all this serious damage by the air raid during the war and environmental neglect during the post-war poverty period, Japanese people have learned the lessons. Never again. We don't want to start a war. At all costs, we must avoid environmental destruction. It is my sincere hope that the whole world will enjoy peace and prosperity by building sustainable global community, avoiding conflicts, and enjoying cultural diversity with renewed commitment for peace under the United Nations. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. So many things one could say. The first thing is that, as Wakako said, this meeting is coming in a very timely moment. Like in this very critical juncture in history, 2017, we now count on the tradition of learning of the Japanese people and all the movements which have been committed to peace, and we have a lot to learn from it in the current moment we are living in. So the first thing I would like to say is thank you to all of you, Sally, Sesto, Izumi, Wakako, to all of you who are committed to service to humanity, to protect the earth, and to all the people everywhere in the world who are committing their lives to defending the environment, to defending life, to protecting life in all its forms. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. If it was just you, if it was just me, just us, we would be doomed. Thanks God there is the force of life expressing itself in all countries, in all forms, and I think that's maybe our best hope. However, I think in this moment it's really not about us. It's not about us. Well, we are not this important in the current moment we are talking, and we all know that. Because as Sally was saying, now it's a moment, it is a completely new moment in the history of humanity. It's a moment in which we either make it or break it. We have an epiphany, a breakthrough towards a completely new level of consciousness, to a completely reorganization and redesign of systems, a new way of being. Or we know where we are, and we are on board of the Titanic. The good thing is that we are aware of that, and we see that coming. And I trust that we are going to find the peace and the courage, the serenity and the discernment to see that this civilization is old, is dead, is rotten. Coming to here, to Japan from Spain, we're moving up north, and we fly over the North Pole. And what I saw was devastating to me. It was like a huge swimming pool over which you fly for hours, not half an hour, like 2-3 hours, which is like a swimming pool with melted caps over there. So I said, like, there was no solid ice. It was all melted for hours of playing. I was like, God damn it. The little children we were seeing in the video, how are we going to look to them in the eyes and tell them this is the world we are letting you to grow in? The child that Yuka has in her womb, what are we going to tell this beautiful baby? Like, are we not able to be responsible for our actions? Are we not able to grow as adults and take responsibility for what is going on and saying, this system is dead. The origin of the end of this system is in our heart. It's an expression of a dead end. It is broken. It's torn apart, and the origin of the problem, it's in the heart. So the image I chose it's a representation of a traditional Japanese art which is called kintsugi, which is like the reparation and beautification of broken objects with gold. So it means metaphorically that from depression it can emerge joy, that from destruction and war, as the Japanese people demonstrate, it can emerge a culture of peace. That from the ashes of defeat a new culture can be born, and also from the ashes of this dying world a completely new thing can be born. And I think, like, to me, like, the gold in this play is peace. Peace is the thing that leads, as you were mentioning, peace is what leads to oneness. When there is a broken heart, where we're torn apart in our heart, there is no peace. Peace brings us oneness with oneself first. A community in which there is peace is in unity, and a humanity in which there is peace is a community in which there is oneness. And also, it's not just peace, it's justice, because in a plate like that, all pieces, small or big, are important. All are essential. Without the smallest piece in that plate, the plate wouldn't be complete. So this brings us to the divine spark in every human being. Right now, we need to unleash the full spectrum of human creativity, the gifts and potential for contribution of every single adult, child, elderly, of all countries. Can you imagine what it would be if in schools, in businesses, in administration, in all systems, like, the full expression of the full range of the creativity and human potentiality was allowed to be expressed? And I think also that culture of contribution, that culture of honoring the divine spark in every single human being and giving them the material conditions to live in dignity and to express their potential for contribution, give us so much energy, so much talent, so much, so for some people it would be, they can express it through medicine, through architecture, through building, through arts, through theater, through construction. That's why the range of human knowledge and of disciplines of arts is so vast. So I think that by honoring this culture of peace, by trusting that this is already happening, the force of life is expressing itself as a new consciousness everywhere. And this existential crisis, which we are facing, is letting millions of us knowing that it is the time to explore uncharted territory, that we still have some 10, 15, 20 years in which we can be uplifted to a completely new level. And what I see here is that there is a very strong field happening, taking place. I say there is a vision, a unified vision for a new civilization. I trust it is emerging. I see it everywhere. It's not dependent on our individual wills. It's the force of life expressing in many different forms. And I hope we make it. I think we will. Thank you.
Thank you, participants, for panel 3 session. And we'd like to listen to words of reflection by Mrs. Saionji. Please prepare your translation device.
So from each and every one of the panelists said wonderful words. So every day, I am grateful for the earth, sun, stars, moon, and everything. So I don't want to forget anyone, so I write them down on my map, and I pray for the world of peace. And these people come from totally different fields, but we heard the Earth Charter. People tend to think only about the things that surround them, but going back to the basics, I mean, it's very wonderful to think about the very basics. Thank you very much.
Now we'd like to thank the panel for their contribution to the theme of harmony between humanity and nature. Let's give them the big round of applause.